Now it's a bit of a different video than I usually put out, but alhamdulillah, as you can see, I'm here in the new unit for Tiger Style MMA. We're a couple days away from launch. As you can see, we've got a lot to do still, but we put the pressure on ourselves to get it done. And alhamdulillah, we're making a lot of progress. The last thing to do is just put down the mats. That's the last thing. So once we've cleaned everything up and got rid of all the little dust and debris, then we can start to lay down the mats. But, I was just reflecting on the journey to sort of get here. And today was the last session that we're going to do at the Teviot Centre. It was the last session. We concluded almost 2 years. And 2 years has gone by like that, 2 years has gone by like that. And it just goes to show, there's not really an overarching point to this video. I just want to kind of ramble on about my sort of thoughts on time, rizq, and trust. Trust in Allah, trust in qadr of Allah, and trust in sort of, the abilities that God has given you. And yeah, when we first started Tiger Style, it was very, very small, very, very sort of, it was very basic. We had 3 rollout mats, and alhamdulillah, when we saw a lot of people coming, me and Tanvir, we both thought, it's quite amazing to see people come out here, because usually people want to train in actual gyms, and to see them come out to a little community centre to train, it always struck me in my head, thinking to myself, damn, that means, people want to be part of this community, and they feel as though they don't have these kind of facilities, or they don't have someone that they can sort of come to that, they feel like that will take care of them. And I think I'm proud to say that me and Tanvir, we take care of our students. Alhamdulillah, we take care of them, and people can vouch for that. But yeah, I think just reflecting on sort of the journey, and just reflecting on how quick time goes, 2 years ago, we started in the community centre. This Saturday, we're going to be starting out of this unit, alhamdulillah. So when you put your mind to things, you don't really know where it can turn. But, if you have certain milestones, certain goals that you're working towards, things may change along the way. We didn't actually have this plan. At the beginning, we didn't actually have a plan to start. I didn't have a plan to start up a proper full-time facility or big gym. My sort of philosophy behind coaching was I want to give back, and teaching is a way where I get to learn as well. By teaching, you learn it yourself. And just going off how much support we've got, and how many people come through our doors, and they train for a few months, and the amount of confidence they gain is amazing to see. And if I'm quite emotional right now, just thinking this is a dream come true, alhamdulillah. As in, I've been training physical fitness wise for 12 to 13 years, maybe even more. I'll probably say even more. I've been training martial arts for close to, 8 years now, maybe. I'm not sure how long I've been training, to be fair. 2018 is when I started, 2026 now. 7 years, 8 years, we'll say. So And I still remember my first session walking through the doors and feeling like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where this is going to take me. But, I think those are that's the best way things begin, when you have kind of no preconceptions and no preconceived ideas where you hold yourself too rigid. You can be open, you can explore. And, when you come in like that with that mentality, failure is not sort of such a defeating blow, because you're just trying things. And you never know where life will take you. And when I first walked through the doors of Fight Zone in Bethnal Green, I didn't know that I was going to have an amateur fight. I didn't know I was going to become a professional fighter. I didn't know that I was going to fight around the world and, be a professional fighter. One of the very few from the British Bangladeshi community to do so. I didn't know that. So, and you never know where life will take you, but that's when you kind of got to trust in Allah's plan, Results and the outcomes of things, they're never in our control. And when you really trust in Allah's plan, no matter how bitter and how, bad it might feel, if once you trust in Allah's plan, you take everything in your stride. Setbacks become kind of blessings in a way, because you get to reflect, you get to think, you get to, alhamdulillah for everything. Because there's somewhere that I read, or someone quoted this, where they said, if everyone threw their problems into a pile, you'd rush to take yours out. Now, it's a different perspective on things, Whatever you've been trialed with in this life, alhamdulillah, you're living another day. It might be, feel like it's too much to bear, but Allah does not bear someone with more than they can bear. So when you really frame things in that sort of religious perspective, and I've been trying to think more in that way. I've been trying to think more in a way where, you have your own plans, but Allah's plan is the best of plans. Now, reflecting, circling back and thinking about me opening this gym. Now, alhamdulillah, in a community like this in East London, where I was born and brought up in Shadwell, 10 minutes away from where I grew up, Stepney Green. It's the same area pretty much. I'm just, when you're starting something, you have to start with pure intentions. And I really do think that this will be a hub or a place where people will come through and they will gain that discipline, where it will help them in all aspects of life. I really think martial arts gives you a sort of perspective on life where setbacks don't deter you, because you have to keep fighting. You have to keep fighting, no matter how bad it is. In the gym you'll have your coach shouting at you, and then sort of you build that internal monologue when you're going through tough things. You got to keep fighting and getting through it, even though it may be tough, even though you might be tired, even though you might have all the excuses in the world, but you just got to keep going. And I really want this, I really want to see the youth. A lot of people give younger kids nowadays bad press, a bad rep. But I believe, the way you see them is the way that they're going to see themselves. So if people keep on saying the youth are this, the youth are that, they're lost, they're this, they're that, a pinch of it might be true, but on the other side, they're still young. And young people make mistakes. And when you're young, things can be fixed very easily. It's a lot more, it's a different when you're older. You know, you're more reliant on yourself and you have less of, you know, you have more responsibility. But when you're young, even though you may be, for example, myself, just looking at myself, I was very naughty. I was very naughty as a kid. I was, you know, getting excluded from school and whatnot, and, you know, did things, a lot of things I'm not proud of, and said things I'm not proud of, and, you know, you name it. But you wouldn't be able to really think that of me now, you know, judging off the way I carry myself and the character that people see me with now. But again, if you wrote me off as a kid and you kept on thinking that I'm a bad this, bad that, maybe I might have seen myself that way and continued down that path. And, you know, I can see that in a lot of youngsters. They just want a little bit of direction. And they want a little bit of, all they need is, you know, an environment where it's supportive and people care for them. And they're not necessarily going to get that in a state school or, you know, wherever they're hanging about in their sort of area. You know, there's probably not the best for them. So, inshallah, you know, we can change people's lives, change these young people's lives. And without sort of the help from the community, this wouldn't be possible. And inshallah, you know, may Allah make it easy for us and keep us steadfast and keep us sort of, how can I say, make us people that help our families first and foremost. You know, help our families, because if you can't help your family, then there's not much, like, family is where it all starts. If you can help your family, you know, then help your community, help your neighbors. Very important. Alhamdulillah, on this road, Chapman Street, we've got very good neighbors. E1 MOT next door, and Sasa there's very helpful. The brothers there are very helpful. You got Kacha Bazaar, Noya Bazaar, all of these Bengali shops. They're very helpful. They're very welcoming. And alhamdulillah, you know, we want to obviously help them out as well, as you do, as neighbors do. So if anyone needs MOT done, go down next door to us, E1 MOT, they'll help you out. If anyone needs shopping, go down Chapman Street, you already know. But yeah, I'm just rambling on because I kind of need to get a few things off my head, I guess. The next time you see this interior, it will be fully furbished and fully matted out, and the gym will be up and running. But it's tough to kind of, you know, when you ramble on, it's tough to kind of put everything sort of into words. The feeling I have right now is one of excitement. I'm very excited, and inshallah we can make this a success. And I really believe that our community needs more of these spaces. It needs more of these spaces, and it needs more people to, you know, take responsibility. I think that's my sort of message. I probably rambled on a lot. Some of it may have made sense, some of it may not have made sense, but inshallah, this is probably going to go out on my YouTube, my TikTok and whatnot. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Saturday, 10th of January, we will be launching Chapman Street, 124 Chapman Street, E1 2PH. Make sure you guys come down, inshallah.